You're listening to The Standard Podcast. Eye-opening for your ears.
สวัสดีค่ะโบสาวิตรีนะคะ This is We Need To Talk Podcast Talk Show ภาษาอังกฤษสำหรับคนไทยที่ใช้ภาษาอังกฤษค่ะ Hi you guys, welcome back to our show. Thank you so much for listening. ตามธรรมเนียมของ We Need To Talk โบจะชวนเกสของเราคุย3ประเด็นนะคะถ้าเกิดว่าเป็นน้องฟ้าใสเนี่ยโบว่าเรื่องแรกที่อยากจะชวนคุยเลยคือเรื่องของการประกวดนางงามค่ะเธอผ่านมาแล้วหลายเวทีล่าสุดได้ตำแหน่งรองอันดับ2 Miss Universe Thailand 2560 ด้วยนะคะและถูกแต่งตั้งเป็นตัวแทนประเทศไทยเข้าร่วมประกวด Miss Earth 2017 ค่ะเวทีนี้เราเข้าร่วมมาโดยตลอดแต่ยังไม่เคยได้รับตำแหน่งสูงสุดเลยแต่โบว่าหลังจากติดตามดูผลงานของน้องฟ้าใสแล้วปีนี้เรามีโอกาสลุ้นมงมากเลยนะคะ Miss Earth น่าสนใจยังไงสาวไทยเตรียมตัวอย่างไรเดี๋ยวคุณผู้ฟังจะได้ทราบค่ะเรื่องที่2โบอยากชวนน้องคุยเรื่องการเรียนค่ะเพราะที่ฟ้าใสเรียนน่าสนใจมากๆเลยแม้ว่าบ้านเรายังไม่ค่อยคุ้นเคยกันนักนั่นคือ Kinesiology หรือสาขาวิทยาศาสตร์การเคลื่อนไหวค่ะน้องจบปริญญาโทจาก University of Calgary Kinesiology คืออะไรน่าสนใจอย่างไรทำไมฟ้าใสเลือกเรียนสาขานี้และเรียนยังไงจนได้เกียรตินิยมอันดับ1เดี๋ยวโบจะถามให้นะคะและเรื่องสุดท้ายแคนาดานั้นเป็นเหมือนบ้านพี่เมืองน้องของสหรัฐอเมริกาถึงเราจะคุ้นเคยกับ USA มากกว่าแต่แคนาดาก็มีหลายอย่างที่น่าสนใจนะคะน้องฟ้าใสอยู่แคนาดามานานโบก็เลยจะชวนให้น้องเป็นทูตการท่องเที่ยวแคนาดาอย่างไม่เป็นทางการแนะนำให้เรารู้จักประเทศนี้ให้ดีขึ้นค่ะรอฟังกันนะคะเอาละค่ะและตอนนี้ก็ได้เวลาเปลี่ยนโหมดเป็นภาษาอังกฤษกันแล้วพร้อมหรือยังคะ Ladies and gentlemen, it would be my pleasure to introduce our guest for this episode of We Need to Talk podcast. She's one of the most favorite contestants of Miss Thailand Universe 2017 and she will represent our country in the Miss Earth competition. Let's meet her now. ฟ้าใส ปวีณสุดา ดรูวิน Hello น้องฟ้าใส
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you. It's an honor for me to be here today.
I have always rooted for pageants, especially ladies who are representing Thailand, and you are representing us in the Miss Earth competition.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Aren't you? You like by the time that this is aired, you will
be in the Philippines.
Yes.
Yeah, it's only about because it's going to be aired on the 1st of November, right? The pageant will be on the 4th of November, so about 3 days after.
Oh, so
yeah.
by then you'll be super ready and you'll be in the Philippines like super ready to compete.
Yeah, definitely.
So you know like when we think about pageants, the misconception that people would have is that oh yeah, they're just beautiful women without a brain. They just all they need to do is just to, you know, have a big smile and pretty poses and a perfect body. But today we're going to show them that in today's pageants, it's much more than just the beauty part.
So much more. Yeah, definitely.
So we're going to get to know you a little better. And first thing we're going to talk about is the beauty pageants.
Okay.
I've heard that you've been a contestant in quite a lot of pageants already.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta chase your dream. I feel you, girl. You participated in the Miss Chinese Cosmo 2013 competition.
Yeah.
Also Miss Thailand 2013 and Miss Thailand Universe 2017, which just happened.
Yeah.
What fascinates you about being a part of the competition, and were you also competitive in everything else in life or just the beauty contest?
Well, I had different reasons for entering each of the pageants. Like for my first one was Thailand Chinese Cosmos. It was pretty much like, you know, it was during my summer vacation and I wanted to get like some experience in this pageant world. Like, is it right for me? Like, how would I feel? And that's pretty much like, you know, I went so much further than what I expected with second runner-up. And afterwards, I got the opportunity to represent Thailand too, like one of the 4 people who represented Thailand in Malaysia at the Miss Chinese Cosmos. And that really like was a huge eye opener because I've never competed internationally before, and now I know, like, you know, from that experience, now I know what to expect when I go to the Philippines, like what I have to bring and all that stuff. But for the second one, Miss Thailand in 2013, so I have to say that my mother, like, you know, it's just a little dream of hers that she wanted me to enter this pageant. And so, like, you know, I was still in Thailand and I was thinking, okay, if I could, before I go and like try and achieve my dream, I want to complete hers first. So that's why like I entered it. And again, like I wasn't expecting anything, but I went further than the first pageant and I got first runner up. So, wow. But this time for Miss Universe Thailand this year, it was a huge dream of mine. And I found out from my years of experience that you need to be smart and not just beautiful. So my first goal was because I took 2 years off of school at that time to complete my duties for Miss Thailand, and I went back and I wanted to get that degree with honors. And in order to graduate with honors, I had to get an overall GPA of 3.6 or higher. And I have to admit that in my first semester, like I was still kind of lost and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So I kind of, let's say, deviated a bit. And I actually, like, I'm gonna be honest here. And I got my first semester was I think it was 515 or something. And
Girl.
it was really bad. But the thing was, when I went back, I still had 2 years left. I graduated within a year and a half with straight A's in that 16 months, like that year and a half that I went back, and I graduated with honors. So that was one thing ticked off, and then I came back, and there was so much more than a lot of people may think into preparing for, you know, my dream pageant, which was, you know, one, I had to lose weight.
Yeah.
I had to have like a firm body because at that time when I came back, I was about 78 kilo. And by the time I entered, I was about 62, 63.
Wow, that's a big loss of weight.
Yeah, so I was, you know, I was pretty happy with myself that, you know, definitely if you have a goal, you're going to do everything in order to try and achieve it. Other things was definitely like my Thai was really weak. So I had to train myself with like a teacher in the Q&A portion. And like there's just so much that goes into it. And sorry, I totally like lost. What was the question again? It was why? Oh, well, what makes me attracted to? Yes. Okay. So I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
So what happened was I really liked the idea of, you know, being able to have a platform to make a difference. Because I always get up and do the same old patterns, the same old routines. And it's just, you know, what am I doing with my life? And now with beauty pageants, there's a platform where you could be a voice for others.
And your voice can be heard.
Exactly. So that was one of the main reasons why I entered the pageants, but mostly it was also to challenge myself, to gain new experiences, meet new people, have more friends. And it's just like everything really draws me to beauty pageants.
And you said that you've competed in other stuff before, like sports.
Yeah, sports.
What sports do you play?
Basketball, volleyball, badminton, swimming. And I'm actually trying Muay Thai.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So don't mess with her, guys. So you do it all. So you're a sporty girl.
Yeah.
See, it's not like the stereotypical, you know, people have this stereotype of beauty queens, like, oh, they're like, they don't care about anything else, but you care. You have a purpose for entering the pageant, and you are a sporty girl. You're the girl next door. So it's very easy to relate to you. What would be the difference between a beautiful woman and a beauty queen?
Okay. Well, personally, I think that a beautiful woman, as you mentioned, does not need to have brains. Like she could just be in a room and smile and you would think, wow, is she very pretty? Like, is she a beautiful girl? But when you talk with her, she might not be as charming as you initially thought. And with a beauty pageant queen, it's completely different because you can see that she has passion in what she does. And, you know, there's a lot of hard work that goes into being a beauty pageant queen and doing like her advocacy and just really carrying it out. And you can tell that she needs to have an all-rounded knowledge. And when you talk with her, it just feels like charms you and she draws you in and you're like, wow, like she's not only just pretty, but she's also intelligent too.
Do you know that show, Jimmy Kimmel?
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever seen it?
Yes.
It's really funny because, like I said, a lot of people have this misconception of, beauty queens being stupid or whatever. Or not stupid, but like they're not as smart as people would think.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Kimmel, he actually had questions that were in the I think it was Miss America pageant, and went out on the streets and asked regular Joes, like regular people, asked them these questions.
Oh.
And you'd be surprised how stupid real life people are, or maybe not stupid, but maybe just because we're under pressure, like
yeah, I know
they
what you
ask
mean.
like really serious questions. And when you guys are on stage, you guys make it look so effortless. You guys make it look so easy. Like
we try to.
Yeah, and people always judge them, for just because you're beautiful. But little do they know it's actually harder to answer, and without
definitely
with the pressure
definitely and especially the time limit too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think I love that Jimmy Kimmel did that, because then people could relate a little bit more of
it's not
actually
as
more
easy as you
exactly
think.
It's actually more stressful than you think. Now, have you ever seen the movie Miss Congeniality?
My sister loves to watch that.
I did too. It's actually one of my favorite movies, the first Miss Congeniality. So for our listeners out there who haven't seen it, this movie is about an FBI agent who's tough and sort of always thinks very little of the beauty queens.
Yeah.
Until one day she had to go undercover and become one herself.
Oh my gosh.
So a lot of people are the same way, like we mentioned, that, they think that being in a beauty pageant might be a little anti-feminist, or that the whole pageant thing is kind of shallow because it's all about looks, and I'm doing the air quotes.
Yeah.
What can you tell them about the beauty contest? Like, what is it really about?
Well, I can tell you definitely that you need passion, and beauty pageants are all about, as I said, like making a difference. And there's so much that goes into it because, as it's mentioned, a beauty pageant is they're looking for someone who's pretty, but also someone who can, depending on the pageant that you're entering. Like, for example, Miss Universe, it's confidently beautiful. Or Miss Earth is, this year the theme is heroines fighting climate change. And definitely, like, you need to be beautiful, like, have a pretty face, you need to have a firm body, and also you need to think the part, not just look the part, but be able to speak the part. And it's a lot, like there's a lot that goes into it, and like I don't know how to explain it, but even with, as you said, with the time limit and the pressure that goes into answering the questions, like you definitely need to be a quick thinker and be able to have the wit, like quick-witted too, to answer the questions. And there's so much that goes into it that you don't realize.
Exactly. Because, I mean, to be honest with you, when I am a pageant fan.
Yeah.
I like watching pageants.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm not ashamed to admit that.
Yes.
And when I watch like every single pageant, and when it comes down to, the top 5 or top 3, where they ask you the questions, I try to put myself in your shoes, and I try to answer along with you. And you know what? It is hard. And you have like a few seconds to think about it and answer eloquently.
Yeah.
Not just answer it, like just ไม่ได้โพล่งออกมา, like you don't blurt it out, You
need to
have
think about it
and answer it eloquently.
I totally forgot to mention, but the reason why beauty pageants are like over a course of a month or a course of like weeks is because during the time when you're doing activities, they also look at your personality, if you're friendly, if you're able to get along in groups, and if you're going to be like okay to work with. Because obviously, like after the pageant is over, if you are crowned, then you're going to be working with them.
Right.
So one part is definitely the personality. The second part is obviously like, as I mentioned with the swimming suit, you look at the body-wise, if you're firm, if you have a good body. Also beauty pageants, the face, of course. But, you need to be able to walk with your catwalk. That's why, like, for all the what do you call it, the parts before answering the questions, they have like many walks of in a short dress, in an evening gown, the swimsuit. But at the end of the day, they don't look at your outward appearance.
Yeah.
That's why when you get into the top 5 or the top 3, they have the answer portion. And in many different pageants, you always just kind of like clear the scores that was building up. And then you really just focus on how well she answers and if it's straight to the point.
Yeah, because for example, like Pia, Miss Universe 2016.
I love her.
She isn't the typical beauty queen that you like her body type isn't the typical body queen body type that we think of.
Yes.
But she is so smart and she holds her own. She knows how to present her body well. She knows how to present the clothes well. And most importantly, she answers the questions very well. And you could totally relate to her. And you feel like, oh my gosh, she is so real.
Yeah. I was like, when I actually had the opportunity to meet her in the Pia meet and greet in Thailand.
Yeah, she came.
Yeah, and she has a lot of interesting views. And it's really something that I would suggest you listen to, and you could like totally see a different opinion, a different point of view that makes you think, oh my gosh, like, you know, I've never thought of it that way before, or what she said is really spot on, and it's very inspirational.
What was the most inspirational thing that she said that?
Well, it's really hard to pick one, but one of the things that I remember up to this day is that obviously because of the beauty standards, the typical beauty, as you mentioned, a lot of beauty queens are, you know, they say, the fans always say like, oh, her eyes are small or her nose is kind of weird or, you know, her boobs are tiny. Like, she should go get some plastic surgery. But Pia comes out and says, if you tell your queens to all get plastic surgery and they go on stage, they're all going to look the same. How are you going to be able to pick who's the winner, who's the champion? So instead of bashing our queens, we should support her because she's standing on that stage representing you. And I was like, yeah, exactly. I was like, oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now since you've done it a few times already, and I think that each competition could be like your very own unique life lesson.
Yeah.
Looking back at the most recent pageant, the Miss Thailand Universe pageant, what was the most memorable or valuable lesson that you've learned from it?
Well, I think it really like helps that I was able to go to Chiang Mai. And in Chiang Mai, what happened was I was able to really, you know, see the culture difference because I was dressing in like full attire wear from head to toe in the Chiang Mai clothes, like in a bun with flowers. And also I was able to go to old like ancient temples and really just see how a temple was 700 years ago.
Yep.
And where also I was part of this traditional walk or this tradition where there's a ceremony where you walk around and I was I don't know how to explain it, but พายใช่ไหมคะคนที่แบบถือ
like เสลี่ยงเหรอ or like pie like for the boats?
No, not for the boats, but like you know, in the olden days you would have this kind of like thingy where you go to the market.
Oh, like a hop.
ใช่ไหมใช่นาง
like
หาบใช่ไหมนางหาบใช่
หอบคืออะไรหอบนี่หอบ
ใช่ตอนนั้น like I was able to be I totally don't know how to say this in English, but นางหาบ and I was like, oh my gosh, like with the music and the dance, and I was like at the front with this, and I was like, oh my God, like feel the goosebumps. Like there was a lot of tradition that went back there, and it really shows that in different parts of Thailand, they have their own culture, and there's so much that you can learn. And that's really like the main thing that I learned about this pageant is you just have to visit every part of Thailand and you can see the difference, whether it's subtle, whether it's in the food, in the clothes, in the culture, like they're all different.
I think you raised a good point. A lot of people in Thailand, myself included, haven't really visited all the parts of Thailand, all the regions of Thailand. And my friends travel all the way across the world just to visit us. And sometimes people are like, oh, I'm going to Phuket. Like, what do you recommend me go? I'm like, girl, I've only been there for work. I've never gone there for traveling. So I can't give you any recommendations. Like, what about Got PP? I'm like, oh, same. I just go Bangkok. Like, it's such a shame. And, you know, it's something that I feel like we take for granted. Thailand is so beautiful and it has so many beautiful parts that it's unseen.
And it's very exotic too. Like it's so unique that's why like I'm so passionate. Like every time you speak to me about Thailand, you could just see my eyes start sparkling and I'm like, I really want to visit every part of Thailand. It's just, oh my gosh, I could go on forever.
Yeah. So by the time, like we mentioned earlier, by the time this episode is published, it'll be 3 days before the competition for you. And we know that you're going to do so well. You look ready. You sound ready. And I think that you'll do great. And we're rooting for you.
Cross fingers.
By the way, I hope that we can expect to see more of you in the future, maybe perhaps in the show business.
Hopefully.
What kind of future career plans do you have for yourself right now?
Well, right now, like with my height, I'm looking definitely into the modeling industry. But the Miss Universe Thailand organization is also trying to help me into being an MC or a host. And if I had the opportunity, definitely I would try like all different, entertainment industries such as singing or drama, like acting, MVs, like anything. I would definitely be open to try.
ผู้จัดคะ ถ้าฟังอยู่
ขอด้วยนะคะขอโอกาสค่ะ
All right, now let's go back in time when you were in school.
Okay.
I've heard that you majored in something very interesting. So let's talk about that.
Okay.
You went to school in Canada, right?
Yes, I did.
Did you grow up there?
Well, I actually, like I was born here. And then after I finished grade 2, that's when I moved to Canada. So that was in 2001, about 7.5 years old.
What part of Canada did you live in?
In Alberta, so in Calgary. And I went to school there until I graduated from university.
Speaking of university, great segue, Bo. Speaking of university, what was your major for your bachelor's degree?
Kinesiology.
Kinesiology.
There's it's actually when I looked into it at first, like it was very limited. Like in Canada itself, like there wasn't a lot of schools that had this major.
Yeah.
And are you gonna ask like what is it about or why did I take it?
Both. What is it about? I mean,
it's the study of human movement.
Yeah.
And I think I really need to explain why I chose this first. So, like, as I said, like I was lost. I didn't know what to take. And at first I was kind of debating business because I heard that if you go into business, then you can just switch to any other major later on. But then I heard from my friends that were already in university that if you go into a major and you try to switch out, they're going to make it harder. Like you're going to need a higher grade in order to switch into that major that you want to afterwards.
Right.
So I was like, okay, well, Dad, help me. And my dad was like, well, I don't want to choose for you, but how about you just cross out the majors that you don't want to take? So that was like a lot. That was like, I don't want to graduate in religion or math. Well, I was in IB. And the thing is, like, I actually loved math, but in IB, what happens is I kind of like go fast-paced, and in my 12th year, I would learn like some of the courses that you would learn in university.
Kind of like AP classes in the States, right?
And what happened was I took math 10, 20 in grade 10, and then 30 and calculus in grade 11. So there was no math in grade 12. So a whole year without math and then going to university in order to take math major, that's kind of like, no, I don't think
no,
so.
Thank you.
So there was like a lot of stuff I crossed out of my list. And at the end of the day, like when I was a kid, I've always wanted to be a doctor. And so I was practically looking into like pre-med courses, pre-med, like anything pre-med.
Right.
And the thing that I came up with was kinesiology because one, you learn about anatomy and physiology. And I was thinking, I don't want to learn about anything like like macro and microbiology and molecules. So I was like, okay, well, this is something that you can do yourself. It can apply to us because it's about the human body.
Right.
And the thing that I took was general. Like I could have taken anything. Like I could have taken biomechanics. I could have taken personal training as, the majors that branch out of it.
Right.
But I wanted to take general because I wanted to get an idea of all the different spectrums in kinesiology. So I actually took like adaptive physical activity and outdoor living and like all those stuff that is all about human movement. And also most people who graduate from kinesiology, they would take a master's degree and then they would become a physiotherapist. Yeah, but a part of me, like at that time, wanted to take medicine. So that's why I was looking at all like the physics and the chemistry and all those options that
all
were...
the hard classes, of course.
Yes, of course. And by that time, when I noticed that, oh, okay, you're going to have to take OChem, like organic chemistry.
Everyone is afraid of OChem.
Oh my God. Because the thing was when I was in IB and I took it in high school, I was like, should I? And that was like at the end of my second year. That's why like when I came back and with that opportunity for the first pageant, like I was so lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And at that time, like I was like, okay, let's go for something different. Let's like look at life at a new perspective and maybe I could see like what is it that I really want to do with my life. So anyways, I wanted to take kinesiology because there was nutrition, there was everything that pertained to my body, and it was a plus that, you know, with personal training and all that stuff, I could apply it and actually prepare myself for beauty pageants.
Oh, that's smart. See, you related that to your dreams.
Yeah.
And you let that guided you in choosing what to choose to study. Because it's a dilemma everybody goes through.
Yeah.
You know?
But a part of me, like one of the reasons why I took it was my parents, like my mom has osteoporosis, like weak bones, and my dad had weak knees. So I wanted to learn about, like, as I said, like most people who graduate from kinesiology were physiotherapists.
Right.
So I took classes where I learned about that, like what to do and what activities to recommend for people in order to, like, you know, be active and live a healthy lifestyle, because people who are healthy will live longer lives and happier lives because they're going to be healthy.
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess that was one of the main reasons why I took kinesiology, because you can help others. And it's just simply like being there and just also knowing for yourself too, because if it applies to you and you can kind of like give that knowledge away in order to help others, and especially for those who have disabilities, like physical, intellectual, like anything, like there's also activities that you could do, not only like for your health, but also how to kind of like steer you and like help you kind of learn the skills in order to be in society in a way that you can help yourselves. So like there's so much more in kinesiology that
because it's a major that you don't hear a lot.
Exactly.
Kinesiology, and that's why I was so surprised when I read that you took that as a major. Good for you. You chose from passion, and I love your dad's method, by the way, and I think a lot of people are struggling with that, of choosing what to major in.
One of the things that I really liked was that he lets me choose for myself, because I think that a lot of parents nowadays, like, they really tell their kids, like, you have to be a doctor or a lawyer or a dentist because you get a lot of money, and like, hello. If you go in and you waste money just so that your kid says, I don't want to do this, I'm not going to graduate in this, I'm going to switch majors, that's going to be a waste of money, and it's not going to make your kid happy. So yeah, definitely, like, if you are having troubles out there, definitely cross things that you don't want to do or don't want to take from your list.
Great method. Yes. All right, let's backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
When you were growing up.
Yeah.
What was the education system like in Canada? Starting from kindergarten up to like high school to college.
Well, in Thailand, you have kindergarten 1, 2, 3, right?
Right.
Over there, you only have one kindergarten, grades 1 to 9, 10, 11, 12. So wait, grades 1 to, it's elementary, 1 to 6.
1 to 6?
Yeah,
and then
I
middle
think it's
school.
Here, middle school is 7, 8, 9. And then 10, 11, 12 high school. And then you can either choose if you want to go to college or if you want to get a diploma, like go to university. It's really up to you. If, like, for me, if I wanted to go to the States, I had to take like a specific test. Like, I think it was the LSATs or something.
Yeah. Oh, the LSAT is for law school.
Right.
I was going to take the LSAT.
Yeah, my friend was going to take the LSATs. And I was like, well, you know, personally, if I actually like was looking into some universities in Canada, like in Ontario, where you could just go straight into medicine without having to do the 4 years undergrad.
Yeah.
But then I like, you know, I just didn't want to like be a financial burden on my parents.
Yeah.
And it cost a lot for res. And on top of that, like the taxes are 15%, like double tax in with the provincial tax in Ontario, like any other province outside of Alberta. So I decided like anywhere that's near home, especially like in Calgary, then I don't have to waste money on res, and that's like saving at least like 10,000-15,000 per year.
Yeah. Did you commute to
the bus?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
ติดดินนะคะ You've mentioned earlier that you were on the honor roll or the dean's list. That was in kinesiology, right?
That was in kinesiology. I was also on the honor roll 7, 8, 9, like from junior high. Like you start the honor roll from junior high to high school to university. You don't really call it an honor roll. You call it a dean's list per year, every year, 3.6 and over. But if you have, at the end of your degree, if you had it for the last 3 years, then you graduate with honors, with distinction, sorry. And that's, you know, I was pretty happy that my overall average, not only was I on the dean's list on my last year, I had also graduated with distinction.
Yes. What kind of hard work did you have to put into that?
Oh my gosh. First of all, I have to say that I was such a huge drama addict. And when I was at home,
What did you watch?
All the Asian dramas, the Thai, the Korean, Japanese, Taiwanese, Chinese, Philippines, like any Asian drama I would watch. And like if it was in Thailand, I would know the whole schedule, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday to Sunday. Like I would know everything.
Oh my gosh.
They would come to me like as a Thai, like Wikipedia. And
love it.
You know, like at that time, that was of course during my first 2 years, I would know anything and everything regarding dramas, like whether it was any Asian dramas. And when I came here and I had a goal that I went back and I had to get like graduate with distinction, like be on the dean's list. That's when I really like focused on studying. And I think it really helped that I took a 2-year break too, because it made me really want to go back to school. And at that time, believe it or not, like unless it was during my holidays and after exams, I would not open a single drama.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think that really helped because by being able to focus on it, like you really just do your homework and you study a lot, and it was pretty easy to get like straight A's. And I have to admit that definitely, like if you have a spring and summer, then definitely like take one of them off at least, because you're going to burn yourself out like what I did. Like I took winter, spring, summer, and then fall, and then again like winter. And at that time, like, you know, in the spring and summer, you're supposed to only take spring 2 courses, summer 2 courses, so that your exams would be kind of like spaced out a bit. In 3 days, you only have 2 exams. But what I did was I wanted to graduate in a year and a half. So I took 3 in spring and 3 in summer. So that means I had 1 every day, or 2 in one day and then 1 on the next day, because in a day you could only have 2. And at that time, like, you know, I was still okay. I was still going like, hello, keep it coming. Like I can do this. Oh, I took, fall, winter, spring, summer, fall, and then winter again. So that was 6 semesters. And I have to say, like, during my last semester, I was so burned out that I started to cheat just a little bit. But if it was exam times, no computers. So...
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally relate, because my freshman year of college, I was obsessed with
What?
with the soap opera Passion.
Oh my gosh.
And I used to schedule my classes around Passion.
You're kidding.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That was like my first quarter. My school, I went to UCI, and it's a quarter system. So for that quarter, for the first quarter at UCI, I scheduled my classes around a soap opera. Shameful.
Oh my gosh.
And one of my roommates in my sorority, she used to schedule her class around Oprah.
Oh my gosh,
because she loves
really?
Oprah. Yeah, so she used to schedule her classes around Oprah. So that we do that.
Unfortunately, we didn't have that option, but definitely, like, I was actually debating whether I could have done it in a whole year, but they wouldn't let me be able to go over the maximum 5 courses in a fall or winter
Damn,
semester.
but you graduated in a year and a half?
Yeah, instead of 2 years.
That's amazing. So see, hard works pay off.
But that was of course that was after like the, I took 2 years first and then 2 years off and then a year and a half to graduate. So instead of, if you look at it, then it's like, overall it's longer than 4 years. But if it was the time I went to school, it was 3.5 years. But, that's still really good.
Yeah,
I was just happy. Like, I was like relieved, like, yes, it's finally over. And yes, I did it. Like, all that hard work, like, totally paid off. And both of my parents were there on my graduation day. So I was like, thank you.
They must be so proud.
Yeah, I was so happy. They were just, my daughter finally graduated. And I was like, yeah, sorry for the long wait.
All right, last but not least, we need to talk about Canada.
Okay, go for it.
So for your first interview question on Miss Thailand Universe competition, you were asked คุณจะบอกชาวต่างชาติอย่างไรว่าเสน่ห์ของเมืองไทยอยู่ตรงไหน Now let me ask you this. What can you tell us about the charms of Canada as a country? How would you answer that?
Well, like I answered for Thailand, like definitely the tourist attractions and the food and definitely the Thai people. And I have to say, like, if I were to answer the charms of Canada, like definitely the tourist attractions again, of course, like with the Niagara Falls and in Alberta, I went to Banff and I wish I could have gone to Jasper. I went a bit to the Rocky Mountains and stuff like that, but more than that is, again, like the thing that draws you in and makes your experience like a happy or a memorable one is the people who are there to welcome you or to suggest you to places where you want to go. And definitely I think that they're very patient and very understanding with us because when I went there, I'm not kidding you. I was like, hello, sabaidi you? Sabaidi you? And they were looking at me like the kids were like, what the hell is she saying? They looked at me like an alien. And, the teachers, like, they were just laughing and they were like, oh, come on. Like, kind of like, she's new. Just give her a break. Just give it just some time and she'll come and, be able to speak not broken English, but at least something you can understand. And I feel like they really try to understand us. They really try to make sense of what we're trying to say with like body language and they're very patient. And it just really makes like your experience better for those who don't speak English natively, like fluently. And that really helps. Like they're also very friendly. Like they're like, hey, how can I help you? And I just love that, like about the people. They're very honest and straightforward and they're just there.
And Canadians are known for that, for being super nice.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you've heard of the series How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, I heard of that.
One of the characters is from Canada, Robin. And the entire show, like all 10 seasons, I think, they all tease her about being Canadian and how like nice Canadians are, So people all over the world tease about Canadians being super polite and they're super nice. So you sort of confirmed it. That's sort of true, right?
Well, yeah, it's just, I would say definitely really nice, but I think if you talk in terms of polite, I would have to say from all the people I've met, the Japanese people are by far politest that I've ever met.
Yeah.
But if it's like nice, like definitely like Canadians are super nice. Like the thing that really makes you like feel at home is that they're very understanding and they don't like put pressure on you. They're like, they don't like, just say it what you want to, like they don't do stuff like that. They just like, it's okay, like just talk. I'll try to kind of they don't even like, it's kind of weird, like we can speak like broken English, like we can say I eat, like I eat instead of like I want to eat like McDonald's, I eat or I McDonald's, and then kind of like make the motions of wanting to eat. Like it could be anything and they just like click and they understand what you're trying to communicate. And I was like, wow, like, like that's great.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us what you think about Justin Trudeau.
Well, Justin Trudeau. Okay, I think I have to give you a bit of facts on him first before I could tell you.
Right.
Like he's the second youngest prime minister and he's the only person so far who's the son of a previous prime minister in Canada. And I have to say that he's a very modern politician. I mean, he really, like, I really respect him that he respects people's rights, whether it's women's rights, it's the Aboriginals or the natives in Canada, or even the LGBTQs. Because if you saw, like, in his Instagram or his social media pages, you would see him walking as a part of the LGBTQ parade. And I was like, wow, that's something you don't see every day.
Right.
He also takes selfies and he posted, like, he's totally like into the social media. And what I really liked was that in his cabinet, like, he has an equal number of women and men. And when asked, like, why is it that, you know, you have that? And they're like, it's 2015. He answered that, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Awesome.
Like, exactly. Like, I really love how he respects other people's rights, and you know,
and gender equality.
Yeah.
And he is right. It is 2017.
Yeah.
It is time to really take gender equality seriously. Will you go back and live in Canada someday?
Permanently or to visit?
Like permanently.
That's something that I feel like if it's permanent, I haven't really made a choice of where I want my permanent home to be yet.
Right.
But definitely, like, I really want to go back and visit because my sister and my mom and my dad are currently, like, in Canada, especially my dad's side of the family in Quebec. So I definitely, like, I really want to go back, like, on a yearly basis even, just to go and visit them and, like, you know, hey, I missed you, Canada. Like,
Are
definitely.
they waiting to watch you on the Miss Earth competition?
Actually, my dad's side of the family is, my sister is, but my mom and dad, I just found this out. I'm so excited. My mom and dad are actually flying over to the Philippines.
Oh.
I know. I was almost like crying because the thing was, like, my dad is retired, and for the Miss Universe Thailand, like, he flew over here, and I'm not kidding you. I cried on the day that I found out because I knew that he was having, like, he was living on a budget, and the money that goes into a plane ticket to come over here, like, it's a lot. And so I kind of, like, you know, I was okay with him being here, like, not okay, like, I was super, like, excited for him being here, you know, as a part of my dream in that path. And then when I heard that I had to go to the Philippines, I was like, okay, well, my mom and dad just came, so obviously, like, I think that they're gonna, like, it already costed a lot for them to be here, and all the meals and, like, all the travel expenses and everything. And I was like, okay, like, I'm okay if you guys don't come to the Philippines. I totally understand. And they kept it quiet until just about a couple of days ago. They were like, oh, by the way, where are you gonna stay in the Philippines? And I was like, I don't know, somewhere in Manila, I guess. I mean, that's where it's gonna take place. And and they were like, well, can you tell me? And I'm like, why? I don't know. And they were like, you know, why? And then they were like, okay, I'm not gonna keep it a secret anymore. I'm gonna come over. I was like, oh my gosh.
Did you cry? Did you cry again this time?
I was on the verge of crying, but I was like, oh my God. Like, I was so, like, oh my gosh, I was so speechless. I was like, oh, thank you. Like, thank you so much for being there. Like, it really means the world to me.
You're getting teary-eyed. You are. Aww.
So,
I'll bet you they're very proud of you.
oh, thank you.
Okay, now the next section is called This or That.
Okay.
This is a new segment of the show, and we have 5 pairs of words. You'll pick one out and then explain or elaborate on your choice.
Okay.
Okay. The first one is too hot or too cold.
Well, to be honest, I'd rather it be too hot because I feel like if it's too hot, you can just go in and, like, cool yourself. But if it's too cold, like, I'm not kidding you, I wore about 6 layers before with, like, 6 layers of coats and, like, 3 layers of mittens, and my hands were freezing, and I honestly, like, I couldn't move my hands, and that was a really scary experience. But over here, if it's too hot, I just walk into a mall and I'm like, okay, it's good. It's all good.
Next, little black dress or little red dress.
Red and blue are my favorite colors.
And I recently saw a picture of you for Miss Earth.
Oh.
You had this red gown on. You look really... No wonder red is your favorite color because you look good in red.
Oh, thank Thank you.
It looks really good. For our listeners, Google it. You'll see it. It'll come up. It's really recent and it looks really good. So
I'm so glad.
Next, hotel rooms or Airbnb rooms?
Well, I've actually used Airbnb before and, they were actually like, there was this one time when I went to an apartment where they said that the water and utilities were included. But when I actually went there, it says, it was supposed to say excluded. And I was like, what's going on?
How is that my fault?
Yeah, exactly. So I contacted with the Airbnb and they were really they were totally super helpful and I got my money back. Whatever I had to pay extra, the Airbnb would
cover it.
Yeah, compensate it.
Nice.
So it's all good. So I would say service-wise, I really I would support Airbnb.
Next, an iguana as a pet or a tarantula as a pet? I don't know.
Wait. So, tarantula? No, I'd rather have the first one. I don't think I can touch the second.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say it.
I think I would be scared. I'm like, what if one day you look at the case and you're like, where is it? What happened
and then it starts crying on your back. And oh my God. No.
I love my life too much. I wouldn't want to take the risk. Making your own food or making your own clothes?
Ooh. I really love to try and make my own clothes, but I think that I need help. So definitely I love eating.
Yeah, me too. Yes.
So I love making my own food.
Awesome. This is where you're going to get to practice before you go on stage for Miss Earth. What we have here, we have a jar filled with questions, hypothetical questions.
Okay.
And you're going to choose one and then we'll discuss it.
Just one?
Yes.
ขอให้ได้คำถามที่ง่ายๆนะคะ Ooh, this is the smallest one.
Let's see.
Oh my gosh, I'm nervous.
Your question is...
Oh, that looks long.
You're on a first date with someone.
Oh my gosh.
They promise to answer the next 3 questions you ask completely honest, leaving out no details.
Oh my gosh.
What questions do you ask? Or what questions would you ask?
Wow, this is kind of tough because I've, believe it or not, have never been on a first date.
Never?
Never.
Oh! I'll bet you the guys right now are like, I want to be here first. I want to be here first.
Okay, well, definitely if I were to open my heart
Yes.
and somebody was to come into my life and be my date, I would definitely ask, are you really seriously thinking about dating me as a potential marriage partner?
Yeah.
Because, I guess it's kind of like a dream of mine that I really want my life to be like a fairy tale, I guess, where I meet the one and I know if I open my heart up to someone and I just want him to be with me until death do us part. I just believe that love is forever. So definitely kind of like truth or dare actually, but yeah. Are you really serious about considering being with me forever? The second question would definitely be is there something that there's always this question where there, people are not perfect. And sometimes on a first date, you kind of try to have it they call Thai people, I think they call it on a promotion where you only show the nice side. So I really want him to tell me is there something that you think right now personally, because I'm going to be myself. Is there something that you think that you don't like about me right now? Because 1, it could be just a misunderstanding and I could clear it. Or 2, sometimes you don't know your weaknesses. And if they actually say it out in a straightforward, honest way, I can take it. And it really helps you to see a new perspective of, I've never been on a date with guys before. How am I acting? Am I too nervous? Am I not talking? Am I stuttering? Is there something just tell me honestly what you think, how you think about me and how this date is going. Wow, first date. Wait, I'm kind of thinking really far off, oh my gosh. And my last question, I would definitely ask about let's see. Oh, definitely this question is if we were to, build a family together,
right,
where is it that we're going to live? Like, what is your dream house? Because if our dream houses are different, like if I wanted to live, near a lake and he wanted to live in a forest, then I would think maybe it's kind of like a clash right there. And, maybe if we really love each other, we can definitely make it work.
Right.
But our dream houses and also what we plan for the future, if it's not the same, then that's kind of a bit hard.
All right, thank you so much for coming here today.
No, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, and I'm glad our listeners get to see you on another side and to hear what you have to say and what your passions are and what you believe in. And we wish you the best of luck, and we know you're gonna rock that stage, and you're gonna, no matter what happens, you will do great, and you're gonna make us proud. We're already proud of you, seeing how ready you are right now.
Oh, thank you so much.
So good luck.
Thank you. I'll do my best to make you all proud.
Yay! Thank you.
Thank you. ขอบคุณค่ะ
Oh, that was so good.
I totally was stuttering on the last question. I was like, oh my gosh, first date. I'm kind of thinking far off now.
Girl, I stutter all the time on this show. ถ้ารู้ว่าเพื่อนคนไหนรักภาษาอังกฤษชอบฟังภาษาอังกฤษและเรื่องราวชีวิตที่น่าสนใจของเซเลบหลากหลายโบฝากแชร์เอพิโซดนี้ให้เขาฟังด้วยนะคะ
Binge listen to all of our shows and episodes at thestandard.co/podcast. The Standard Podcast เปิดหูเปิดตาเปิดใจเปิดโลก